Hi, welcome to this series of videos. Unreal Basics for Filmmakers, PreVis setup and storyboards. We'll cover getting started, setting up a world, using fab assets, using lights and cameras, and posing characters for storyboards. Topics covered in this video: overview of Unreal Engine, getting started, creating a project, and basic navigation. Hello, and welcome to the series of videos. We're going to start by taking a look at a very powerful tool called Unreal Engine. This is a tool that is bigger than just making video games, although it is a very powerful tool for making video games. What Unreal Engine allows us to do from a cinematic standpoint is look at how we can do PreVis, look at shot development, look at composition through in-engine cameras, storyboarding, and just overall visual communication right here within this free tool. When I say free, the tool is free up to a certain point. If you're making a tremendous amount of money on it, then there are some fees that are associated with Unreal Engine. But to get started, it is absolutely free. So, the easiest way to get started is to jump in and download the engine and just start playing around a little bit. But there are so many resources available through the Unreal Epic Games website. I really recommend taking a minute and look around the Epic Games website. For some of the various topics. There's learning. You can go through and look at some of the content, some of the different areas. There's some great forums that you can access. And to get to this point, what we're going to do is we're going to go to unrealengine.com in your web browser, and then you'll be able to download the engine to get started. So there's a couple links here. You could say Get Unreal Engine here, or you can go to the download link up at the top, and then you can actually access and download that to your computer. You will need some higher specs for this engine for it to run. With that, if you want to download, take a look at that, and then we'll get into the engine in just 1 minute. Okay, so if you have downloaded Unreal Engine to your computer, it has downloaded a couple files for you to install, and one of those is going to be the Epic Games launcher. So if you haven't downloaded and installed, you can follow along. If you have, feel free to launch the Epic Games launcher, and I have it docked here, but if you need to find it, you can go to your search bar. I'm on a PC, by the way. This will work on a Mac as well. So either one will be good, but I'm going to type in Unreal, and then that should pop up here, Epic Games Launcher, and I'm going to go ahead and click on that to launch. Now, I have already installed the latest available version, which is Unreal Engine 5.6.1. It's perfectly fine if you have an older version installed already, or you want to look at an older version. You can. What we're going to be doing is relatively universal for a few releases back. But I have 5.6.1, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply launch my engine. So I'm going to go ahead and click Launch. It's going to take a second to do this, and I'll be right back. Okay, so as soon as my engine launches, I met with a few options. What I have here is a list of either recent projects, so things that I've been working on, and you can see I have things dated back all the way to 4.26, but again, we'll be using 5.6 for this exploration today. The other thing that I can look at are some templates. So if I click on Games, you'll see that I have first person, third person, top down, right? So virtual reality, vehicle. All of these are templates, so they are built with certain tools already enabled. There are certain assets that are already installed. For example, in the third person, you'd have a blueprint for a third person that you could have run around. For a vehicle, you'd have a little vehicle and things like that. You also have a film, video, and live events. In here, this is a little bit more for virtual production, or if you're going to be doing something with a live event design. And also a really great tool that's been released in the last couple updates here, which is the motion design tool set that's available in Unreal. So I highly recommend that if you're into content creation or motion design or any type of motion graphics design, this is a great starting point to start looking at some of the tools here in Unreal Engine. It's a very powerful engine, very powerful tool, and again, very, very affordable.
The other couple things that I have in here, I have an architecture. So again, this is great if you're into designing for architecture or wanting to lay out something to visualize cities or buildings, anything that might be revolving around the world of architecture. Below that, I have automotive, product design, and manufacturing. Again, these are just things where if you wanted to do some like product shots or something like that, you could really design and develop some solid ideas and getting some of those, a product or a car visualized and rendered out really beautifully. And then lastly is simulation. Again, you can kind of see simulation gives you a virtual reality, a handheld AR, and then this blank simulation template as well. So a couple really great things. What we're going to do though is we're going to use the games template for this. And one of the reasons that I want to do that is because I want to be able to utilize the third person template. Now I could do the same thing here in film and video, but this is just a good way to start because it kind of has by default a lot of the tool sets that we might want to use. And if there's something that's not available, we can enable it. So let's say there's something with some camera settings or something that we'd like to enable. We could enable that really easily with the plugins. But I'm going to start just by doing a third person example here. And then I'm going to find a place to put this. So I'm going to look on my computer and I'm just going to go to my documents. And I have an Unreal folder here, Unreal projects. And inside of here, I'm going to create a new folder and call this Unreal Demo. And I'll put 25 since that's the year we're in. And go ahead and select that folder. I'm going to name my project here. So I'm going to call this Unreal Starter Demo. And then the other thing that I want to do here is I'm not really going to do too much with these settings. I'm going to leave them at Blueprint. I don't want to get into doing C++ coding. I'm just going to use Blueprints if I need anything. And then the target platform here, I'm going to set that to desktop. That's what I'm on. That's what I'm good. I'm not doing anything for mobile or anything like that. And then my quality preset, I can leave it at maximum. If I change it to scalable, that would be fine as well. I can actually scale that up or down depending on what I need. But ultimately, those are going to be by default fine. And oh, one thing I forgot to do here, if you notice, it's not allowing me to create that because I accidentally put spaces in my name. I can't have spaces, so I need to make sure I don't have spaces. I'll go ahead and hit create. And once this runs, it's going to take a second to create that particular map in that particular project for me. And then once that's done, I can get in and start poking around with the Unreal interface. Okay, so when Unreal launches the project that you've created, it'll look a little something like this. And there might be slight changes or slight differences to your layout, but it'll be primarily similar. So what you have going on here is right in the middle, you have your canvas area or your project window. And this is where you will actually see all the things that you're building. So you can actually grab some elements, move them around. You can, if you wanted to, for example, play the game or like jump around with a character, you could do that. And you could just simply hit the little play button, and then there's your character. A, S, D, and W will run around, spacebar will jump. So you're getting in here and you're getting a sense of, the ability to play this game. And one of the things that I think is really, really remarkable with Unreal Engine is that it gives you a fast way to build out a level, build out a scene, build out an environment, and then explore it sort of like you're there, sort of in real time. And I think that's the real amazing part of Unreal is that you can get in here and PreVis your films, PreVis your content, actually lay out the environment or lay out what you're trying to make for your films or content or animation or really a game or whatever it is you're doing, and get a really fast way to get in there, try it out, see what's going on, and see if it's working or not. Now, there's a whole lot more to that I'm not going to go into right now, but the main thing that I want you to start to think about here is when you're jumping into Unreal is just start to navigate around a little bit, and don't even worry about all of the other stuff around the peripheral yet. Just get in here and start to grab some of the content and start to poke it, move it around, hitting W E and R on the keyboard. W is translation, E is rotation, and R is scale. You can come in here and start to play around a little bit with the space and relay out things, or simply delete, grab some things, hit delete, things that you don't like or that you don't need, and just work with the elements that you want to kind of start to build with. So coming in here, you know, simple stuff. W to get the translation, and then you can move that around your space. And then the other thing you can do is you can copy and paste assets by simply Command C, Command V, and that will allow you to copy and paste. You can also hold Alt on the keyboard, and then when you do that, if you hold Alt, and then every time you let go and then hold Alt, you'll duplicate the object that you're moving, which is really handy. So really quickly, you can kind of come in here, holding Shift, you can select multiple assets at the same time. Boom, 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 and then move them all. And you can really quickly start to create some great looking pieces. So again, let's say we're going to build a little cityscape. I'm just going to use this. And again, I'm not doing anything fancy yet. I'm just holding Alt and using the translation, and I'm building skyscrapers. You can see I made a little line in there, and that's okay. You know, actually that might be something that I do for the sake of design. Maybe I pull it up a little higher, and that's pretty cool. And then pull one down, use the R and scale it in, and then scale it up. Hit W again and push it down, and there you go. And you can kind of see the other thing I did here. When I scaled that, I scaled from that one on the corner, so it actually isn't laid out perfectly, and that's fine, because all I got to do here is move them back into place, and you can really see how quick it is to start to lay out your environment and all your assets and things that you might want. So the first step with Unreal is just getting in and starting to play around a little bit with the interface. So if you're doing that and you're having a little trouble navigating, I'm going to give you a couple quick tips, a couple quick keys on the navigation. On a PC, if I hold the Alt key and use the left mouse button, click and hold the left mouse button, I'll be able to tumble around. If I use the middle mouse scroll wheel, I'll zoom in and out. And then if I can also use the hold Alt and use the right mouse button to zoom in and out as well. And then lastly, I can click the middle mouse button, and I can sort of pan around a little bit, or kind of translate my camera left, right, up, or down. And also I can use the the arrow keys. I was thinking of the wrong one. I can use the arrow keys in here as well to zoom in or out, or left and right on this. So that's another quick kind of trick. And then the last thing I'll say for this is you're getting in and kind of exploring the layout process, is if I want to zoom into a specific area, I can select it, hit F on the keyboard, and it'll frame it up in my window here. So that is sort of like a really quick introduction. And like I said, don't worry about all the peripheral things yet. We'll get into that in the next couple videos. But the thing that's important here is that you're able to start to navigate around a little bit just by using some of those quick tricks and navigation tips. All right, so with that, we're going to stop this particular video. In the next one, what we're going to be looking at is getting started with a super basic build, and then importing some assets from Fab so that we can lay out a scene and start to really get into setting up our scene in the next couple videos.